Let me tell you something I wish someone had told me 15 years ago. You can absolutely figure it out on your own, but it might cost you everything. Too many plumbing and heating contractors are out there trying to DIY their way to success. What's ironic is we hate those DIY guys, right? But we are them. And yeah, if you're stubborn enough, you'll get there. But it'll take years. Years you could have spent actually making money, spending time with your family, building real wealth. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on how we built a profitable, sustainable trades business. And no, we didn't do it by muscling through every problem alone. We hired consultants. We leaned on other contractors. We got help. And because of that, we shaved years off our learning curve and avoided the burnout and financial stress that takes down too many good businesses. This is the Trade Traction Podcast, where we help plumbing and heating contractors stop working for free and finally turn a profit building the company of their dreams. I'm our host, Dennis the Apprentice on most socials. And after 25 years in the trades and building two beautiful, profitable companies, I'm now passionate about sharing our journey, how we did it, and helping others find success as quickly and as profitably as possible. Let's get into it. Right? Isn't it tough out there? I'm discovering most companies are really, really struggling. It's not something we really talk about because we don't talk about it because if our employees knew how tight we were with money, how close we were to going out of business, they might start looking for another job, right? So I'm recording this around the holidays, and I remember the holidays being such a struggle emotionally because you're seeing friends and family. You know, you want to give a bonus, you want to have a Christmas party. You can't really afford it. There were many years where we didn't feel like we could afford it. Sometimes we did it anyway, right? But you know there's bonuses expected and you're behind on some of your supplier payments, right? And it's just a struggle. And what's even worse is there's parties to go to and everybody's joyous and acting like everything's, and you're in business. So you must be rich, right? Because you're in business, you own a big company, right? How's it going? And you say it's going great, right? Well, we're super busy, right? But we weren't actually predictably profitable till around $3 million. I said 5 million on another video, and my partner reminded me, well, at $3 million, we had things figured out. But we were a $3 million company before we actually got things figured out. And we got to 3 million, got cut in half by a recession, and then built back up. Lots of trial and error and trying new things and figuring stuff out before we got there. But here's something that I noticed. I fell into the same trap, and I notice so many contractors are doing it. I want to talk about today. And that is most people are doing it alone. Most people are out there like you are so busy scrapping for payroll that you don't have time to connect with other contractors. You don't have time to find a consultant, or who do you trust? Who do you call? Like, where do you get started? Like, you don't even know what you need. You just need more money. So like, you're going to work harder, right? Like, what do you do? So I just wanted to take the time to share with you our experience. My experience was I came to our company expecting to become a plumber first. I wanted to understand the industry from the inside out. That's kind of my nature. And so I started out in the field with the intention of becoming a plumber. I really like construction. I love to build stuff. But 3 months after I got there, my father-in-law had a heart attack. He's in the hospital. The reason I was there to begin with, because he'd had some heart attacks, and he's like, hey, I need help with the business. So I need you to come learn to be a plumber and then start learning the management. So great. I was chomping at the bit for an opportunity. And I knew I'm an entrepreneur by nature. I can't help it. And so the idea of learning a trade, I was already successful in another trade, but learning a new trade and then moving into management and helping run the business, oh my goodness, that was such a dream come true for me. I'd read all the books, stack of books. I was pretty well read when it comes to business and management and personalities and stuff like that, sales and marketing. Anyway, 3 months after I got there, he had another heart attack, and I find myself having to step up and run the crews go sell jobs, and keep everybody employed. My goal immediately was to care for my crew. And so that was my mission. And I was very fortunate to have the best partner in the world. Kimberly, my sister-in-law, she's like, I got the books. I'm good at the books. I got the insurance. I'll handle the phones. I'll do all the inside stuff. You keep the company going. We have to sell jobs. We got to figure out to get the crew going, motivate the crew, get them selling better. And so that's kind of how we divided it up and went to work. But here's my fatal mistake, a fatal mistake that you're probably doing. Many do it. I knew I was over my head. I knew I didn't know what I was doing. And so I went to work on my business and I hunkered down and I didn't expose myself to other people. I didn't go to the supply houses. I didn't have time to go there. I didn't go to meetings or network. There was invitations to come to network meetings and stuff. I didn't go. I did not get to know my local community. And what I know now is if I had reached out and told my story, hey, I'm new. I've only been in the industry 3 months. My father-in-law, who everybody knew, has had a heart attack. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm motivated and I've read the books and I need help. There would have been a host of contractors that would have gathered around me and helped me out. And I didn't realize that. It was a fatal mistake. Every trade, whatever trade you're in, there's an association of similar businesses. We're in plumbing, so the PHCC is the Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors. It's national. Almost every state has a chapter, and I am in Seattle, and there's a chapter in Seattle. I did not know it, but the whole time I could have reached out to them, and there were contractors that had raised their hands saying, I want to network with other contractors. I want to help out. I want to know who to call. I want some friends in the industry. I thought they were all enemies. So I never went to the meetings. I got invited once in a while. I never went. Didn't have time. So finally, there's that. What we did do was I read the magazines. Again, every trade has their magazines, their trade journals. So I started reading the trade journals to speed up my knowledge of the industry. The magazine would come in, there'd be articles on management and techs and new equipment and technology. I read it all cover to cover. And in there, I started to learn about how really good businesses run. And I actually called one of the authors. His name was Frank Blau. Frank Blau is like the grandfather of flat rate, of upfront pricing. I called him up and I think he'd just retired. And he says, well, Dennis, it sounds like you need to connect with Kenny Chapman. Kenny Chapman is one of my coaches. It was Contractor 2000, and they just changed their name to Nexstar because we're just after 2000. This is like 2002, 2003. And so they changed their name to Nexstar. And so I called up Nexstar, and Kenny Chapman was putting on a seminar down in Florida. And so Kimberly and I maybe maxed out our credit card. Like, it was stressful. It was so stressful. And we flew to Florida. And we flew on a shoestring. We were so scared our company wouldn't be there when we got back. We flew clear to Florida, from Seattle to Florida. It's about as far as you can go in America, right? And we go there and we got some coaching. We were in a room of other contractors that was struggling. Kenny Chapman had built a business and knew how to do it and taught us some things. And we left there changed because we were informed, right? And we saw the light and we saw what could be, and maybe a map on how to get there. And they had systems that we could buy into, and it was expensive. We couldn't afford it. We had to put it on a payment plan, and it was scary. But guys, here's the thing. We knew we needed help. We were struggling. So then, because of that, there was another contractor in town that was a part of that group. And so we built a relationship with him. And guess what? He was one of, or the biggest plumbing contractor in town. And we took him to dinner. We took him to lunch. And we got into a habit of doing that every once or twice a year. we'd get together and go to lunch. And at first it was a little scary. We don't really know each other, and it seems like we're competitors, but we're in the same network. And so we're friends, right? But he told us one thing that changed our lives. He told us it's not back then it was scary to go from time and material to flat rate to change your company. It was terrifying. And also it seemed like we were going to charge a lot more. We really weren't. We were just going to present differently. But in charging more, it was scary, but it seemed like we're going to charge so much more. That's going to change everything for us. And he said, it's not when you go flat right that's going to make you successful. It's when you do enough things right. Here's that word enough. You'll hear me, if you follow my content, you're going to hear me talk about the word enough and the word until. Those two words I love for lots of reasons. We'll get into that later, but that requires a whole episode. But that was key to us. So we went to work on our business, and we worked on one thing at a time. And we wondered if when we work on this, will that be what turns the tides, right? And starts helping us be successful. And nope, got to try something else. And we'd fix that. I wonder if this is it. Nope. Like, we were getting better and better and better as a company, but still it wasn't really taking off, right? We could see a light at the end of the tunnel, but it was still dark, if you know what I mean. And so finally, when we did enough things right, things started clicking and it started taking off. But it took several years and the point of this episode, several coaches. So then I think we ran into Ellen Rohr, my partner, Kimberly. She wrote an article. Ellen had some kind of contest in one of the magazines. And so it was like a day with Ellen Rohr. Ellen Rohr, I love you. Anyway, she had this contest, and Kenny Chapman, I love you too. You changed my life. Kenny Chapman now has his own coaching program. It's called Blue Collar Success Group, something like that. Anyway, great guy. And his buddy, Chris. Got to give a shout out. This is what this episode is about, the people that helped us along the way. Kimberly wrote a little essay, and she won a contest, and Ellen came and visited our shop. And she told us just 2 or 3 things that absolutely changed everything for us. Absolutely changed everything. And then, now that my mind's awake and I'm looking at some different stuff, here's what's cool. Half of life is just being there, just showing up. Showing up where? Showing up to what? Everything, because you don't know what thing's going to work out. You know how you get invitations to there's a training at a supply house? Well, I went to one of those supply house trainings. It had a little flavor of, we're going to teach you some, so usually on a tankless water heater or something, right? But then there was a little flavor on business. There was going to be some business talk. And so I went, and the speaker, his name was Bill Palmer. A shout out to Bill Palmer. He said a couple things that, man, we just resonated. And I was sitting in the back of the room, and I remember I kept asking questions. He kept talking, saying stuff I loved. I kept asking questions that fed into, like, we were vibing. And he even said, we need to talk afterwards. And I'm like, yes, we do. And so we met. I went home to Kimberly, and I said, Kimberly, not home, back to work. And I said, Kimberly, I met this guy. We got to hire him. He's awesome. He's exactly what we need. And he was. He told us 2 or 3 things. It was just 2 or 3 things that really helped us dial things in and get things going, right? And then I'm trying to remember all the key points. Then and this whole time we'd belong to different best practice verticals that we'd have to fly to and visit. And we'd always feel a little nervous about leaving. We'd always go cheap. We'd always go get there as close to the event start as possible. Like, I used to hate it. We'd go there. We'd always go back to the East Coast. We'd have to take this big flight. We'd get there late the night, and then the next morning it starts at 7, which means 4 o'clock in the morning for me, which means I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? With the time change, the 3 hours difference. And it seemed like everything was always on the East Coast. So, and then as soon as it was over, we'd be taken off, headed home. It was just like, Oh my goodness, I long for the days when we could go a day early to get accustomed to the time, right? And then spend a day there and just chill for a minute before we head back. Because when we head back, we got stuff to do, right? We got some new information we need to work into our company. But then we had another visit with, remember I talked to you about that contractor we got together with once or twice a year? There was another visit, and we shared some information. He's like, wait, what? And he got a piece of paper out and he illustrated how big the problem was that we just said. He's like, there's nothing else to talk about. Like, wake up, smell the coffee. We didn't see it. It had to do with too many calls. We had actually got our marketing figured out. We had too many calls. And we were kind of bragging about that. It's like, well, we can't even get to the calls we can get to. Look at us. And he's like, what's your average invoice? Holy, like, look at the problem. I think it was several $1 million or $1 million problem. Kimberly might be able to correct me here, but it was a gigantic problem worth fixing. And it was kind of like that was the dinner. Like there was really nothing else to talk about. So we ended up having dinner, and on the way back, it's like, oh my goodness, that changed our life. That one dinner, I remember where we were at. That was we went to the Anthony's. I ordered salmon and Caesar like I always do, but that little dinner changed our lives. So do you get the point? What I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say we were working hard. I was blessed with a fantastic partner that was just as dedicated to success as I was. We were both very, very driven, and we just put everything we could into the business. But even by ourselves, I'm not sure if we would be successful yet. Like I imagine we would, but I can't even define how much time those key hints about what to do next or what to work on next or different things, those, and hearing it from someone that's done it before. Like you don't know, like, when you're running a company, when you're running at 2 or 3, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 million, whatever it is, and you're barely breaking even, it's scary for change because what if it's worse, right? It's scary. What if I do this and 2 people quit? I'm screwed. Then I really can't make payroll, right? So when things are really tight, it's really scary. So what's really cool is when you have someone in your corner that has your back, that's been there before and knows what'll happen and knows what to watch out. Okay, you're going to do this, but then this. And so pay attention to this, and this. And invaluable to have a person that's been there before and been there and done that. And guess what? They all want to share and help. So whether it's an association, every trade has the association. I implore you to join an association near you. Us trades guys always think that we're all enemies with each other, but we're not. We're playing the same game. There's too much work and not enough plumbers or tradespeople out there. Whatever trade you're in, there's probably not enough, and there's not going to be enough for quite some time. So it's okay. We're not competitors. It's like, think of yourself as a golfer playing the golf course. Like the market is the golf course, and we're all golfers. And aren't we all trying to get better? And we have good games and bad games. Can't 4 guys go play together and all have their best game, and it's all great, right? And that's kind of how business is in the trades. There's not enough tradespeople out there, so it's safe. Like if there was too many tradespeople, it might be a little bit different. Like we want to keep our secrets to ourselves, right? But not now, and not anytime soon. The best thing to do is join an association in your area and start making friends with other contractors. And what you'll discover is those could become your best friends. Think about it. You have a lot in common. When you're running a business, there's not much time for anything else, right? And so, but if you go to they'll oftentimes have meetups and stuff and things to do to get together. And those getting together times, just one conversation from someone can be everything that you need, right? So that's one thing. And then also just to call people, don't you wish you had a friend that you just call for advice? That's a little bit about what an association is like. But also get yourself a coach. there's people, like myself and others, Ellen Rohr, Kenny Chapman, there's all sorts of ones. There's best practice vertical groups, but there's consultants out there that would love that have done it before and been successful, have a methodology, and would love to share it with you and help you be successful faster than they did. It's kind of like your kid. When we have kids, we want our kid to have a better life than we did. I found that's true in the trades. Most owners that found success and figured it out want to help others, want to help the next guy figure it out much sooner. Wow, I didn't realize I did this, and it worked. Let me show you how. There's something in it. There's something in it that we just want to share and help out. So, yeah, the deal is I didn't do it alone. I was never alone. I had a good partner to start with, but then second, we were good at reaching out and asking for help. And then we made friends in our industry. So we had people to call and talk to. And then we hired consultants. Another consultant we hired once, he had him for 7 years, Jim Motes, a dear, dear man. He worked with the Vistage Group, and it was like a group for business owners, because the business owner is kind of isolated. You know, it's hard to have someone to talk to, right? And sometimes you have struggles you don't want to share with your employees, right? And sometimes we don't want to share those struggles with our wife either, right? We don't want her to be so scared. One time I was working with a contractor, we went to work, and then we just sat in the truck listening to the radio, and finally, this is like 30 years ago, and finally I'm like, what's going on? Are we going to work today or what? And he's like, well, there's really no work to do. And I'm like, well, why are we here? And he's like, well, we're going to just spend some time here. I don't want to, trust me, someday when you're married, you don't want to stay at home. If I was home, my wife would be concerned that there's no work and it'd make her insecure. So we're just going to go to work and do a few things and then come home. But isn't that true? We don't want to share. Sometimes things are tough at work and we don't want to share them with our partner. So that's kind of what Vistage was. It was a place where CEOs could come once a month and share with each other about the real truth about business, what was going on, good, bad, the ugly, the fantastic. But Jim coached me and my partner for 7 years. So for an hour or two, once a month, we would sit down and visit, and he changed my life. He helped my partner and I get along and figure out how to work together, figure out and appreciate our strengths and our weaknesses, compensate for the weaknesses and lean on the strengths, right? And learn to work together. He told us, if I can't get you two partners to work together, then all the other best practices aren't going to work, right? And so he focused us on learning to work together. Isn't that interesting? I didn't learn very much best practice stuff from him. I was the smallest company there. There was $300 million companies in that group. And I was the smallest there and struggling. But what I learned most there was how to appreciate my partner and learn to work together towards a common goal. So, yeah, here's the deal, guys. If you're doing it alone, I get it. Like, we're trades guys, like we like to fix stuff ourselves. But business is a different ballgame. It's a people game. And there's so much. I was on the jet the other day, and I was just imagining, as we're taking off, I was thinking about how much it takes to get that airplane up in the air. Like a tremendous energy and effort to, first of all, get off the ground, and then to drive through up into the clouds and finally get to 10,000 feet, right? And then 30,000 feet. And then it's like, we can kick back, right? And just relax because we're just cruising. And business can be that way. And you see what you often see on social media and the stories is when people are cruising. Because when they're cruising, then they feel like they want to talk, right? Like they want to share how great business is. But very few people share the struggle, like the tremendous effort it takes to get these businesses off the ground. And I wouldn't be embarrassed. Running a trades company, these are complex businesses. You've got all these moving parts. The work being done is out of your sight in someone else's house, right? Oftentimes, that kind of thing. So like the mechanic all the mechanics are under the same roof, right? And so the manager can kind of manage what's going on. They can help each other out. But in the trades, oftentimes we're off site. And so anyway, just think about the complexity of all that. And then you've got all the changing things in marketing and AI and all the technology changes and the softwares. If I didn't have Kimberly to help me with software, I'd be screwed. I am not a software person. So if you're a trades guy, tradesperson, wonderful ladies out there doing the same thing. But if you're out there trying to run a business, you're probably struggling. And the struggle is real and it's legit and it's okay. The thing is, and it's necessary. You got to put in the effort to get the business up and going. The thing is, I don't know anybody that's done it by themselves, but that's how we start. For some reason, we've got pride, like we can do it ourselves and figure it out and do it our way. And that's okay, but you're going to need some help doing it your way, right? And so someone that's been there. So I just implore you to get yourself a coach. I'm looking for a few projects myself. I loved building a business and I see so many struggling. I'm looking for projects myself. I'm looking for businesses myself to help if you're interested. And we all have a different style, right? There's no right or wrong. We all have a different style. But if my style resonates with you, I'd love to chat. But no matter where you are, join your local association and get some friends in your market and start bouncing ideas off of each other. And then here's the other thing, along the journey, you're going to need different consultants, right? Every year you're going to grow and you're going to have different issues that need to be addressed. And so we hired a traction coach, the Traction book, to help us implement the traction philosophy into our business. And we became a traction, an EOS, they call it, run company. That was our last consultant. Phenomenal. So anyway, do you hear me? Get yourself a coach. It's time to quit doing it alone. It's time to get a coach that can help you out, get you going in a better direction. Let's make 2020 the best year ever. And we're not going to do that by working harder or trying harder. We're going to do it by doing things different, doing things smarter, right? And the way to get smarter is to get some help. So I think that's it. Hey, if you like this kind of thing, the Trade Traction podcast is where I share my experiences and some of the things I've learned along the way. And ultimately, I'm discovering there's so many businesses out there, which I was one, that struggled to be profitable. So my goal is to help you quit working for free. Do you know what that means? Right? You know how you work so hard? You think about it. If you're a $3 million company, you got 6, 7, 8 technicians, and you've got several people in the office. How many service calls did you go on? How many houses did you build? How many welds did you weld? How many customers did you satisfy? How many complaints did you resolve? How many truck repairs did you fix? Think about all the issues that you went through. Your whole company, 10, 12, 15 people, right? Working. All you're doing their best. And at the end of the year, there's no money in the bank. You got nothing to show for it. That's what I mean when I say working for free. So I love to help contractors, especially plumbing and heating contractors, stop working for free and finally turn a profit and build the company of their dreams. Remember when you first started, you had a dream of the way it ought to be? That's possible. One of our consultants, Bill Palmer, said, on the other side of profit is fun. So many of us want to have fun and then be profitable. And fun means all the cool things you want to do. You want to buy your guys nice trucks. You want everybody to have a sewer camera on their truck, whatever your dream is, whatever fun looks like. Fun, I'm not saying fun is like miniature golf that's how, or ping pong, or that can be fun, but right. Don't you have hopes and dreams for your business? If I could, I would give out $1,000 for Christmas bonuses or whatever it is, all those things that you would like to do. The way he termed it was, on the other side of profit is fun. So if you want to have fun, we have to get profitable first. Isn't that cool? So that's what I'm passionate about doing, is helping you, the struggling contractor, stop working for free and finally turn a profit and build the company of your dreams. Let's do this.